On March 18, 1991, the Xiaoqi Township Police Station in Baofeng County, Henan Province, received a report from local residents about a murder case. Residents reported that a haystack in a wheat field south of Daibaizuang village had suddenly caught fire. After discovering and extinguishing the fire, people were horrified to find a headless body partially exposed beneath the charred remains. Upon receiving the report, an investigation team was quickly dispatched to the scene. There, they found a decapitated, charred corpse, emitting a foul odor. The body was lying face up with an incision running from the chest to the abdomen. An autopsy revealed that the victim was male, with rope marks on the skin around the neck. The contents of the victim's stomach included leafy vegetables, banana peels, and other substances. The estimated time of death was approximately 2 days prior. Expanding their search around the scene, investigators discovered the victim's genitals discarded in a drainage ditch southwest of the field. After further investigation with police dogs, a head was retrieved from a well, located 24 meters west of where the genitals were found. Determining that this was an extremely serious murder case, a special task force was quickly established to solve the case as soon as possible. Since the victim had no identification on him, the police faced challenges in verifying his identity. They could only announce the case through media channels. Additionally, using Daibaizuang village as the center, they investigated recent missing persons within a 2.5-kilometer radius. Despite numerous efforts, the case saw no progress. Identification notices were published in major newspapers across Henan, Hubei, and neighboring provinces. However, after more than a month, there were still no breakthroughs. Over the next 6 months, the police traveled to over 10 counties and cities. Despite deploying various investigative techniques, the case remained unsolved. More than a year later, on July 14th and July 29th, 1992, 2 serious murders occurred within half a month in Naodian and Yangzhuang towns, Baofeng County. On July 14th in Naodian village, a decomposing male body was discovered in a pit inside an abandoned house belonging to a farmer named Wu Jian. The body was neatly positioned, with a rope around the neck and the left hand tied with a nylon cord. The head showed signs of blunt, force trauma, and blood splatters were visible on the damp walls of the pit. Investigators confirmed that the victim had been strangled with the rope and then beaten to death with a brick. During the investigation, local residents reported that, before the incident, a well-dressed young man had been seen leading the victim around villages bordering Baofeng and Jia counties. When questioned about his residence, the young man claimed he was from Xiying village, Xiaoqi Township. He explained that the victim was his mentally ill younger brother, whom he was instructed by the family to care for. An immediate investigation was launched in Xiying village, Xiaoqi Township. Police discreetly screened young men matching the age and description, but the identities of the victim and the suspect remained unknown. While the police were still investigating the July 14th case, another unidentified male body was discovered on July 29th. This body was found in an abandoned dynamite room west of the porcelain factory in Yangzhuang village. The body was found face down, covered in mucus and heavily decomposed. There was evidence of head trauma caused by a blunt object. On the ground and walls, messages written in blood read, "I am the killer," and "beastly nature." This apparent taunting of the police infuriated the investigators. Under the intense summer heat, the police tirelessly went door to door in every village. In just 3 days, they interviewed nearly 3,000 people and gathered the following information. On July 26th, a well-dressed young man was seen leading a mentally ill patient from the Yangzhuang railway station along the highway to the crime scene, hitting the patient with a stick along the way. On the evening of July 26th, 2 men were spotted sleeping in the wheat field near the scene of the crime. Around 8 a.m. on July 27th, a local resident named Peng saw a well-dressed young man leading a disheveled mentally ill person to the abandoned dynamite warehouse. Later, He noticed the well-dressed man sitting at the warehouse entrance, but the mentally ill person was not seen leaving. After thorough investigation and analysis, the police concluded that all the victims in these cases were unidentified individuals. The perpetrator's method was identical in each case, stripping the victims, using available materials to strike them on the head with a blunt object. The crime scenes were always in abandoned, remote locations. Before committing the murders, the perpetrator would lead the victims around, scouting for suitable times and places. The victims appeared to be individuals with intellectual disabilities or mental health issues. Based on this assessment, the police decided to combine the three cases into a single investigation, focusing their efforts on the entire county, particularly the towns of Xiaoqi, Yangzhuang, and Naodian. Over 40 suspects were detained. However, after multiple rounds of investigations, interrogations, and other measures, the police could not find sufficient evidence or establish any connection between the victims and the suspects. The case gradually stalled. On February 14th, 1993, 6 months after the discovery of the two bodies, another male body was found in a fish pond southwest of Xiaoqi village, Baofeng County. Examination indicated that this was another murder involving a mentally ill or intellectually disabled victim. In an effort to find valuable evidence, the police deployed pumps and fire trucks to drain the pond for 3 days and nights, but uncovered nothing significant. On April 28, 1993, another decomposing male body was found in a flood drainage ditch south of Xiaoqi village. On May 5, 1993, an unidentified male body with multiple injuries was discovered in a wasteland south of the Baofeng Coal Supply Company. On October 15, 1993, yet another unidentified male body was found in a ditch south of Xiaoqi village, with forensic analysis indicating the victim died early that morning. The autopsy suggested that the victim was intellectually disabled or mentally ill. On February 20, 1994, part of a male body, specifically the lower half, was found in a ditch near Dabai village, Xiaoqi County. The following day, the upper half was found at the west gate of Zibaling village, Xiaoqi County. Based on a screw on the victim's finger, police suspected the victim was mentally ill. On August 27, 1994, another decomposing body was found in a drainage ditch south of Jazai village, Naodian Township. On May 24, 1995, yet another unidentified male body was found in a wheat field in Dabai village, Xiaoqi Township. Through on-site investigations and cumulative analysis, the police concluded they were dealing with a serial killer targeting intellectually disabled or mentally ill individuals. Despite deploying substantial manpower, working tirelessly, and thoroughly combing the villages around the crime scenes, the investigation made no progress. The continuous occurrence of these cases sparked a strong social reaction. Intense public pressure left the police under significant strain. They held numerous meetings, carefully analysing every possible lead. After thorough deliberation, they concluded that the perpetrator was a twisted individual specifically targeting intellectually disabled victims. Rather than directly searching for the killer, they decided to change tactics, secretly monitoring beggars and individuals with intellectual disabilities. This time, the police were on the right track. At 11 p.m. on August 4th, 1995, undercover officers spotted a well-dressed young man trying to lure an intellectually disabled person away. Secretly following them for a long distance, the police observed the well-dressed man suddenly drag the disabled person into a cornfield. Recognizing that this was the serial killer they had been hunting, the police immediately intervened, fired warning shots, and apprehended him. At the interrogation station, using professional techniques, the suspect quickly confessed to committing a series of murders, targeting intellectually disabled individuals. The serial killer was identified as Li Jiangguo, born in 1969 into a poor farming family in Dabai village, Xiaoqi Township, Baofeng County. During the investigation, Jiangguo had previously been considered a suspect, but was released due to a lack of evidence. Jiangguo was born male, but due to physiological hormonal changes, He was not attracted to women and instead preferred men. In the 1990s, same-sex relationships were heavily stigmatized. Facing social prejudice, Jiang Guo kept his feelings hidden. He began collecting pornographic pictures and tapes, and these explicit materials gradually distorted his psychology. However, finding same-sex partners was difficult, so he started targeting intellectually disabled individuals. His first crime occurred in March 1991. After luring an intellectually disabled man to a wheat field and raping him, he decided to murder the victim. To prevent the police from identifying the body, Jiang Guo used a knife to sever the head and genitals, disposing of them nearby. More than a year later, realizing that the police had not identified him, Jiang Guo went on a killing spree. Confident in his perfect plan, he even left messages at crime scenes to taunt the authorities. Between 1991 and 1995, Li Jiangguo committed 12 rapes of intellectually disabled men and murdered a total of 11 victims. When the police finally revealed details of this series of same-sex crimes, it caused a nationwide sensation in Henan province. This was unprecedented in China's criminal history, as the rape and murder of men had never been reported before. For his heinous crimes, Li Jiangguo was sentenced to death and executed immediately. His request for a psychiatric evaluation was denied. What do you think about today's case? Please leave your comments below so we can discuss it together. Don't forget to support us with a like and subscribe to the channel to motivate our team to bring more dramatic cases. And that concludes today's case. Thank you, dear viewers, for watching. Goodbye, and see you next time.